No, seriously, imagine a picture-perfect, ice-cold HOA president, the kind who could sell you a house with a smile sharper than barbed wire, standing knee-deep in muddy water, designer heels, sinking hair a mess, just watching her Tesla vanish beneath 12 feet of runoff. That's how my Monday started, and trust me, nobody in Whispering Pines was ready for what was coming next. Justice diesel fumes and 100 years of Hartwell stubbornness. Now let me back up a sec. Name's Ezra Hartwell. Third-generation rancher, 40 stubborn acres left out of 2,000 my great-granddaddy hacked out of the Montana wilds back in 1898. Yeah, 2,000. All that's left now is the old homestead winter pasture, and the bridge he built with his own hands in 1924, thick limestone held together with sweat hope and a mortar mix that'll outlast every one of us. That bridge, it's not just stone and cement. It's family, it's history, it's every Christmas, every calf drive, every fight, and every makeup. With my late wife Martha, initials still scratched into the warm stone where we sat on our wedding day, pretending medical bills didn't matter. That was life, at least, until the sharks rolled in. You know the type. Cordelia Blackwood, HOA president, drives a Tesla like it's a holy relic, wears perfume that could gag a mule. She shows up one morning, folder so thick it could stop a .30-06 round, all smiles. And Mr. Hartwell, we need to discuss your bridge situation. Like it's a busted faucet, not a century-old legacy. She hands me a violation notice, 30 days to demolish. Pre-approved contractors, including her husband's construction outfit. Family-friendly rates, she grins. Yeah, right. You ever get that feeling? Like someone's already decided you don't belong? They're just waiting for you to give up. That's what this was. Community standards, she says. Rustic aesthetic. My great-granddaddy's stonework labeled an eyesore. You'd think I kept rusted cars on cinder blocks out front the way she talked. But I'm a Hartwell. I don't fold that easy. A couple days later, the process server comes knocking enough legal paperwork to fuel a bonfire for a week. Downtown lawyers, the kind who wear watches worth more than my F-150. Threat was clear: take down the bridge or lose the whole ranch in court. But let me tell you, back before I took over the ranch, I spent 4 years as a paralegal in the county courthouse. Real battles aren't won in courtrooms, they're won in the archives under a foot of dust and coffee stains. So I dug. And what do you know, the 1898 federal land grant right there in yellowed paper showing a 30-foot easement on both sides of Willow Creek for perpetual agricultural and transportation use. Turns out my great-granddaddy knew exactly what he was doing. That bridge was legal on protected land, and no HOA in the world could just make it disappear. Even better. Their shiny development had skipped acknowledging the bridge in their own federal paperwork, meaning legally speaking, the whole neighborhood was built on a foundation of whoopsie-daisy. I called in Tucker, old Marine buddy, now a water rights attorney, ran him through the whole mess. Ezra, you realize if the feds get wind of this, they could declare that entire subdivision illegal, right? Hypothetically, of course. Just curious, I said. But Cordelia, she wasn't giving up. She got the county inspector out there, found cracks and structural concerns. My security footage, though, caught her husband's boys out at 2 a.m. with sledgehammers. Real subtle. Insurance fraud, destruction of property crimes, not just HOA pettiness. I handed it to the insurance company and the county attorney just to see how they liked it. Things escalated. Health department complaints about aggressive cattle inspectors taking photos of normal barn smells, new survey stakes in my winter pasture marking future road expansions. Withdraw your opposition or we'll bury you in paperwork and court fees. They didn't even try to hide it. I sat on the porch that night listening to the creek and realized they'd just declared war. Friday, diesel engines rumbling. 2 excavators, a demolition truck, enough machinery to knock down half the town. Cordelia shows up in a white pantsuit, clipboard in hand. Mr. Hartwell, the county has issued an emergency demolition order. Sure, at 6 a.m. on a Friday, right as offices close. No chance to appeal. Pure intimidation, straight out of the playbook. I spent the weekend scrambling. Filed an injunction. Judge denied it happens. He's Cordelia's husband's golfing buddy. Shocker. Saturday, more sabotage on my bridge, this time precise cuts, not just sledgehammers. Security footage, same trucks. By Sunday night, I was sitting on that bridge with my old deer rifle, daring anyone to come closer. They didn't. Monday morning, the whole circus rolls up, sheriff, demolition crew, Cordelia grinning like she won the lottery. But while she'd been busy, I'd been busy too. Every HOA board meeting, every call, every private conversation, I'd been dropping wireless mics, recording everything, including her talking about how to create structural damage before the feds can get involved. Sometimes you just gotta let folks hang themselves with their own words. They took down my bridge. I won't lie, that hurt. No sound of hooves on stone, just creek water and Cordelia's victory party echoing across the valley. But she overplayed her hand, started filing complaints about my late wife's memorial, tried to get my feed supplier to stop delivering, filed for a scenic road right through my pasture. They even dug up Martha's medical bills, sent copies with a note, maybe it's time to give up. That's the line. You do not weaponize grief, not in my town. But remember all that research. Turns out Willow Creek's navigable, protected under the 1889 Federal Rivers and Harbors Act. Nobody, not Cordelia, not her lawyers, not the county can change that except Congress. Tucker did the math. Every house in Whispering Pines built within 100 feet of a navigable waterway, all in violation. Penalties of $37,500 per day per structure. 37 houses for 5 years. $300 million in potential fines, give or take. And then there's the kicker. Cordelia's husband didn't just build too close to the water, he redirected the whole creek to fit more lots. That's a federal crime. 5 to 10 years asset forfeiture, the works. The only thing legal in that whole development was my bridge. So I had a choice. Go scorched earth nuke the whole place, or get creative. You know what the law allows, Agricultural Water Management Authority. Means I could completely legally restore the creek's original course, surround Whispering Pines with water, cut them off just like that. I called in every favor I had. Jake, local excavation guy with a sense of humor. Maggie Lane, environmental engineer with a grudge against developers, even Pastor Williams for moral support. Jake laughed so hard he almost fell off his tractor when I explained the plan. Maggie handled the technical bits, new channel restoration, perfectly legal. Fish habitat, improved wetlands, restored 12-foot wide waterway just happening to isolate Cordelia's kingdom. Permits filed late Friday. Digging started Saturday night under a new moon. By Sunday morning, Cordelia's private paradise was an island. Her Tesla, a lost cause, her phone melting down as she screamed for the county, state, anyone who'd listen. But every single paper was legal. Bonnie Sue, the county clerk, handed permits to the sheriff herself. According to the law, Mr. Hartwell can do exactly what he's done, Deputy Martinez told her, calm as ice. Did she fight back? Of course, hired lawyers tried to dynamite the new creek, caught on camera, arrested for attempted destruction of protected waterways, even helicoptered supplies to residents, which went viral on social media. HOA president trapped in her own creation. Irony. Right wildlife returned trout, spawned property values in surrounding areas, climbed tourism dollars rolled in. My ranch got famous, Moat Ranch they called it. I paid off Martha's medical debt and set up a scholarship in her name. But the real victory came at the town hall. Every side showed up. Cordelia lawyers, news crews. I laid out every scrap of evidence, the historic navigation status, the faked environmental studies, the corruption, the recordings. EPA stepped in, fined the development millions, forced restoration. Cordelia melted down in front of everyone, shrieking about rural bias and that crazy old man and his bridge. But the community, they stood and cheered. Pastor Williams led a call for healing. Former adversaries rebuilt my bridge the real way, limestone and iron, just like 1924. The creek now flows where it's supposed to. Wetlands thrive, kids come on field trips to learn about water rights, and the Hartwell legacy stands stronger than ever. Cordelia, she left for Arizona. Her husband's company fined into oblivion. Her old mansion, now the Willow Creek Environmental Education Center. Even the feds use us as a model for agricultural water restoration. Karma, right? And me. Every evening I sit on that new old bridge, initials carved in stone, watching the sun paint the sky and water flow around Cordelia's lost island. Sometimes justice doesn't come from a courtroom. Sometimes it just needs a stubborn old rancher, a little creativity, and a whole lot of Montana grit. So here's what I learned. You can't let folks erase your history, not without a fight. But you don't always have to destroy them back. Sometimes you just gotta help the truth find its way to the surface. What do you think? Was I right to fight dirty with clean paperwork? Where's the line between justice and revenge, between defending your legacy and becoming the villain? Tell me your thoughts, your stories. Ever gone toe-to-toe with power and come out smiling? Let's hear it. I bet I'm not the only one with scars and a good comeback.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.